books or notebooks or whatever with you, just put them in front of you or behind you. If some of you can't put them behind you, put them in front of you. I'm going to convene open forum. Open forum, as you know, is a chance for kids to talk to other kids. You do not have to raise your hands in open forum. I'm going to invite first people to share. Those people will share. It happens to be a pair. Those people will share, and when they're done sharing, they'll say, would anyone else like to share? And then they'll look around. People won't have their hands raised. They'll just, if they want to share, they'll be nodding like this. And so those people will ask you to share. When you're done sharing, you'll say, would anyone else like to share? And if somebody else wants to share, you'll say, for example, Brandon, would you like to share? And Brandon will say, yes, thank you, John, or whoever invited him to share. Okay? And that's how open forum works. I may have some process suggestions for you, so I'm just going to stay here. But otherwise, I'm not here. So don't look at me when you're sharing, because you're not sharing with me. You're sharing with all your friends. Okay? Gentlemen, Gage and Trey, I'm going to invite you to start open forum today, because you had a chance to spend some more time with the book Hidden Witness. And what I'd like for you to do is share a question, and you can take a second to confer about this. I'd like for you guys to share a question that was rhetorical, that really, really made you think that you're going to carry forward in your mind and your heart, maybe for a long, long time. And then when you're done sharing, you guys, you'll just start open forum and you'll just invite others to share. Okay?
I'm learning why did they call the woman a princess, because back then the whites overpowered the blacks, and it really didn't make sense to call her a princess because the whites were like the most powerful instead of the blacks. Anybody else like to share?
John, would you like to share?
John, would you like to share?
Yes, please, thank you.
Trey. John, would you? Yeah, thanks.
I'm reading a book about Barack Obama, and I asked, because they just skipped to the part.
Tell me, you're talking. I'm not here.
Oh, I asked because they just skipped to the part when they said that Barack Obama was married, and I asked, when did Barack Obama get married? Like, it wouldn't make sense. That it just said when he was married to Michelle. And I just got confused, and I was thinking in my mind if they ever said when they got married.
Hey, I'm sorry to intervene, but it's a process suggestion, not a content one. Ladies and gentlemen, I was so curious. Do you know, or do you know, how to ask each other to explore their thinking further in open forum? So, for example, if Trey was sharing his, he and Gage were confused about why the slave was referred to as princess, when in fact she was a slave. If you wanted to know more about that, or more about what John just shared about his Obama's marriage to Michelle and when that happened, you can just lean forward and say, pardon me, so that you let the person know that you want to speak, and then ask them that question. You know, you don't have to wave your hand wildly, because that's not what happens in a real conversation, right? You don't just like not having a conversation, right? You just lean forward, like you would in a real conversation, and say, pardon me. And then that person will look at you, and you could ask them to follow up or deepen their thinking in some way. When I say pardon me, I like to say, as Brandon and Raven know, what else were you wondering? What else? What else? What else? Because then that, you really figure out what their thinking really is. Excuse the interruption. John, you may continue.
And, well, I was done.
Look around to see if anyone is leaning towards you with a follow-up question, or if they're nodding their heads, that means they want to share next.
Okay, what anyone else like to share? Quinn, would you like to share?
Yes, thank you, John. I was wondering, because like he was good at art and J.K. Rowling, and I was wondering why would she keep her stories tucked away even though they were good? And then anybody else like to share? Does anyone like to share?
Sure, Marie, thank you. I'm reading a book about Amelia Earhart, and I wanted to know, going back to the beginning of the book, what made her want to be an airplane, like fly airplanes all of a sudden, instead of like staying in college. She dropped out and like wanted to fly airplanes. Would anybody else like to share?
Okay, you guys. Sorry, process
Pardon me.
intervention.
Okay, well,
You guys are great at open forum. You know how to hand it off to someone else who shares. But I really now want to see you pushing some of the kids to say more. Nobody yet has pushed the kids who are sharing to say more. So, John Marie, I'll give it back to you, but I just want you to keep that in mind for the next round. Someone will just say, if they want to know more, they'll just say, oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't John Marie, I'm sorry, it was Desiree. I'm sorry, honey. If someone wants to know more, they're going to push you, and they're going to say, pardon me, Desiree.
Pardon me, Desiree.
There you go.
I would love to hear more about
She said, "Oh, love it."
Thank you.
She dropped out to be She dropped out to fly airplanes all of a sudden. I'm not sure why, but I think she saw an ad in the newspaper about it, so she dropped out about that. And then she started flying, and she started getting so much interested in him, and she started buying more airplanes. And she took some of her sister's money out of their savings to buy a plane. But I was wondering how come she didn't just save up enough money to get her own plane, and then she had to sell it because like a flood I think came by and took all her stuff away, so she had to sell it to get a new truck.
Pardon me for a process interruption. Lena, I'm going to ask you to intervene and share what we were working on today with Desiree.
Well, I was wondering, like, how many,
Tell Desiree.
how did Amelia afford all these airplanes?
I'm not really sure because I'm not that far into the book
Aha.
like you are.
Tell her, Lena. Tell her.
So, I am supposed to go home and research it and find out how she afforded all these airplanes.
So the next question, if I were you, Lena, that I'd be asking Desiree is, want to help? Lena and Desiree, I'm going to let you leave open forum and go plan how you're going to attack this issue. And Lena, tell her the rest that I told you about the not going to be in a kid's book. Oh, Desiree, would you pick the last person to share before you go?
Would anybody else like to share? Brandon, would you like to share?
What I wanted to share was that I was questioning that because when my book's after Julia, she got abducted by
Tell them I'm not here.
she got abducted by another Indian tribe. And I thought, why did other Indians hate more Indians? And then I thought about like how Black Americans, the way people think about how Indians got other Indians to be slaves or like work for them, did they go that idea or did they just decide that?
Trey, you know my thumb is stuck like this, but if it wasn't, I'd still be doing this. It was great to intervene, honey.
And also,
Wait, Trey asked you a question, Brandon. You sure you're responsive to him?
sorry. Yes, right. Okay. Also, about it's after Julia being abducted. Not only did she get abducted, but her friend got abducted too. My friend, I think she might point out the guy that she was riding on her horse in the back of the head. She escaped though.
Ladies and gentlemen, oh, you were going to intervene.
Yeah.
Good idea, Ken.
were they, since they both got abducted, were they in the same, like, tribe?
Yeah, they were in the same tribe, going to a different tribe, and also, since Sacagawea went to a different tribe, they didn't want her to get assigned to one of her, the other tribes men, so this one guy, this fur trader, he came up, he said, I'll trade you this fur for Sacagawea, which is one of my Indian ones.
I was wondering, why did she try to escape when she was abducted to the Indian tribe?
Oh, she was abducted to another Indian tribe. But Sacagawea tried to escape, but he,
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry that I have to stop Open Forum right now. I know, it's awful. But, you know, soon buses will come and leave without you, and bad things will happen. And, you know, I can't be responsible for that. Oh, you want to keep going till like 8 o'clock tonight? Yeah, let's have pizza brought in. We'll just have coffee. Let's do. Can we? Yeah, can we? Ladies and gentlemen, may I see your eyes, please? Just a second, sweetheart. I did want you to, but you're going to be up already. Ladies and gentlemen, may I see your eyes? Desiree, Lena, do you have a plan?
Yeah.
Did you tell her? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call Open Forum to a close, which means that you're going to take anything that you have with you back in your book boxes where it belongs. And as the teachers get up to leave, we want to thank you very much